and I would buy the latest gadgets, drones, phones, and even maybe this Tesla car as my desire just to revoke this energy. Do you suffer from lack of energy? If you are a person that is already into your mid or late 30s, or you're already in your 40s or 50s, and you feel a lack of energy, you think maybe that's because there's a decline in your physical capabilities or a decline in your mental clarity as you continue to age, and you don't feel like before, maybe when you were much younger, every day you woke up with energy, with passion, with something to do. I'm gonna share with you my experience. I used to feel lack of energy and lack of purpose. I am in my mid-40s. I am doing okay financially, and my career is not bad, and I'm stable. I have enough money, and I have stable family and social life to sustain my life. And my job, even though it could be demanding sometimes, but sometimes it's give me the freedom to explore and to communicate and to work with the greatest footwear brand in the world. So in a way, I feel blessed by what I have, but at the same time, since I've been working for such a long time, in every aspect of my life, I seem to be more stabilized. But I couldn't find something that excites me anymore, something that gives me a purpose, a reason to continue, to struggle, to strive for. So, when I was a struggling musician, maybe 15, 20 years ago, I wasn't doing great financially. And, playing gigs, teaching lessons, this kind of lifestyle, this kind of perfection is actually very unstable. Sometimes you get paid, sometimes another month maybe you are struggling to make money and so on. And however, that was really the time I felt I'm truly passionate about something. Like, a musician, there's only one purpose in your life, I could say. That's from my perspective, is that it's to improve and to be a better musician, to play in advanced yourself, to play better. And because I was into jazz, jazz is about continue to sharpen your skills. And so we listen to these masterpieces, we listen to these great musicians, and we worship them, and we wanted to play like them someday. And that takes practice. So every single day I would wake up with passion and motivation. Is that usually, and many times, the first thing I do when I wake up is I pick up my instrument and I start just playing. Sometimes I would just play randomly, or I would practice scales, or I would play along to music. But anyhow, I make sure the instrument is close to me, and whenever I have the time, I just pick it up. So even though it wasn't a satisfying career in terms of money, in terms of future proof, no, it's not, definitely not future proof, but spiritually and psychologically, I was really satisfied because I have a purpose, and that purpose is taking forever. It's not gonna be like suddenly 2 months later, even 2 years later, you become the master of jazz. No, it is take such accumulated effort for you to become good at an art. And art is a life pursuit. So even though I wasn't doing well in many aspects of my life, but every day I have a purpose. So my girlfriend, now my wife, would sometimes complain to me when we go out. We were just hanging out in the cities, and I would say, hey, I just want to go home because I felt this urge to practice my craft. I felt this urge to lay my hands on the instrument and pluck those strings. And also, when I was much younger, I was really into language learning. I spent my entire life in Taiwan. Yes, I do travel sometimes, but mostly since my student age, when I was a student and I was really passionate about learning languages. And I started, of course, from English. And I basically spent a lot of my time like listening and even emulating how people talk on the talk shows. I remember I placed my bass amplifier next to my ear on my bed when I was in the school dormitory, and I just listened very quietly to the friends, the Bible of language learning, of course, right? But anyway, that's just a joke. But I was just listening. I would just listen to friends playing in the background even while I sleep. And like years ago, maybe 15 or 10 years ago, there was a time nobody's talk about podcasting here in Taiwan. And it was around that time I started to listen to podcasts. I would always have earphones plugging in my ears, and I would just listen to English materials all the time. So similar to my love for music, my love for jazz and musicianship, as a language learner, I felt this urge and passion to be learning it and improving my skill, improving my understanding of this beautiful language, in this universal language. So that is also similar to me, that I had this passion for something I pursue, something I wanted to learn and become better at. So that gives me this energy. Whenever I have the time, whenever I experience a loss of direction, it was just like a North Star to guide me to do the things that I should do and to improve and pursue something. I would say, I think maybe the word for me is pursue, the desire and the deep understanding that you will need to pursue something even though it is endless. It is forever. That kind of gives me energy. So fast forward to the middle-aged me. As my life stabilized and become much better, I sort of lost this inner fire, inner energy to do something. So I would just find short-term reliefs. I would just buy the latest gadgets and just play this kind of toys just to trying to stimulate this inner fire, this energy that I used to have. And I would buy the latest gadgets, drones, phones, and even maybe this Tesla car, as my desire just to revoke this energy. And I found it is not gonna work, because this is just a short-term satisfaction, very instant gratification, and that's just temporary. And until I started to think about, how about I learn to make some content? How about I share with people what I learned from life? And that is something I find truly meaningful as a personal development too. But also, more importantly, is to connect with some strangers who don't even know me and maybe couldn't even care less about me. But if I have something to say, if I have my life lessons that could be worth sharing, and even just one person that finds this resonating, and that's good enough. So that's why I'm making these contents. And also this serves in another way, like self-journaling. I'm exposing myself while I document my thoughts, my ideas, my struggles, and my success stories and so on. I'm just being transparent while I could do something maybe could be helpful to some person at the other end of the earth. And I think that's something worth pursuing. And it is endless too. You don't suddenly become a great speaker, and you don't suddenly become a great storyteller. This is another worth pursuing life craft, another skills that you can accumulate and learn. And with this, I found this new passion again. And that's why I have been waking up like at 5:30, 6 a.m. every day. And the reason that I'm motivated to wake up so early is that before I commute to work, I would have a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I can sit in my car to record some video, to make content, to share ideas. I used to read books about motivation, right? They want you to build this discipline to become an early bird, and your life would become much better that way. But actually, I tried it, but I couldn't follow through, because if you don't have the passion to do something, and why will you wake up for? Will you stay late for? And again, as my example, when I was into music, the reason I wake up and the reason I go to bed late is because I have this urge to practice. I had this urge to advance my craft. So nowadays, for the past couple months, even though I started pretty late and I didn't know it is such a challenging task to be persuasive, to be a great speaker and storyteller in front of a camera. And this is actually a pursuit that I am passionate about. Necessarily about the potential financial rewards you could get in making content. Right now, that could be my least concern. I'm just using this craft to see as another things that I can pursue in my life, and at the same time, perhaps delivering some value to people who care enough, to click on my video. And that is how I sort of revoke this energy toward life. And I'm sharing this with you that it's never too late to find another things that you're passionate about. Well, actually, let me put it this way. You must find things that you're passionate about and set your hands on to do these things, because that's what gives you purpose. Many people I know, especially around my age, they have kids. So once they become parents, the kids become 100% of their life. Yeah, they have a purpose to raise the kids, but what about the energy within you and your passion? Where do you want to channel that energy? How do you revoke that energy and find something that you wanted to do instead of something that you only do to fulfill some other person's life? Like some of my colleagues too, they've been in the company maybe longer than I am. 15 years, 20 years, and even 25, 30 years. Yeah, we see many veterans in the company. And why they have a lack of energy? Because they already mastered what they are taught and required to do. That's one thing. And another thing is that they are fulfilling the passion of some other people. That is the owner of the company or even their supervisors. What they do, they spend 8 hours, 40 hours a week on fulfilling some other people's passion. And that's why they have a lack of energy. It's not because they are older. It's not because they have the decline in their physical and mental capabilities. No, I think that's just because they don't have a purpose. They don't have a commitment. And it's never too late for you, no matter how old you are. For me, it's never too late. I would say that it doesn't matter how old I get, even in my 50s or when I become an old guy, like 60s, 70s, I would still find something that is worth pursuing in my life. And that's the passion I want to have continuously. And all the pursuit will add so much color to your life, memories. And it's always great that as you look back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you become a totally different person.